Hello again, everybody. Harry Boxer, the technical trader at techtrader.com. It's January the 4th, Thursday evening, and these are the charts of the day. Another good day in Wall Street. Not as good a day as the first 2 days, but it was an up session. A lot of stocks are popping. I'm extremely worried about the Bitcoin, Chinese, marijuana plays, all of them. This is getting speculative, out of control, and that happens at the end of every major intermediate to long-term bull phase that I've ever seen in my career in the 55 years I've been trading. I'm warning everybody who hasn't been in this market a long time to be extremely cautious going forward. If you want to trade any of these Chinese poppers like the ones we saw today on CNET and then CNIT after hours and things of that nature, do so with caution and with stops in mind. You do not want to hold these, particularly overnight in particular. I would think that would be even more dangerous, but let's take a look at some, and I'm not going to address them tonight, but I do want to because there's so many other stocks to talk about. APOP is a stock that exploded on really big news, from what I've been told, very big news. But if you look at it, and I didn't see this until later, the last time it exploded in January, and then exploded in February, and did it in March, and did it in August, October. Every single time it popped, it pulled back, pop, pull back, pop, pull back, and it might very well do that here. The close was terrible today, but I expect it to close down in this range. I just don't know where to put a stop on it. My feeling is we don't want it below, say, this area. So I'm going to look at 875.9 as a very, very important support zone. That would be right there. If it gets below that, just move aside. If it manages to back and fill and move back up again, my targets are going to be, as I stated today, 13.5 and 17, a possibility in my opinion. That's what I'll be looking for going forward. We'll see if we can get it. Bold, boy, Audentes Therapeutics is really ripping it. In the last 3 days, it's gone from the 31 area to 41, almost 42, 11 points. So it's a little bit ahead of itself, but a very powerful move on 1.9 million, which is the biggest volume I've seen since it went public, literally. And now the stock's had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way move, so it may be getting overbought. However, with the angle of ascent looking like this and the stock is still moving, you may get momentum to take this into the high 40s, even 50 before it pulls back. Keep an eye on it. CMCM with an explosive move today. You remember that when this stock was trading up in the high 30s, and then they hammered it in the 5-wave decline all the way back down to single digits. Well, after forming an inverse head and shoulders or right-handed extended V and a nice pullback channel, it popped, pulled back for a little bit, retested. Today it exploded for 282 or 25% on 8.3 million. That's huge volume. But and with 7.5 days to cover it formally, you can see multiple tops taken out and closed above. I'm quite interested in seeing where this goes, but I think 16, 17, even as high as 18 at this peak up here could be potential near-term targets for the stock. Let's keep an eye on it tomorrow for sure. CRC, the swing trade's doing very well, and you can see the stair-step move with a flag and a falling wedge, and then it still moved up today. Now, in the morning it pulled back a little bit, but it had an engulfing day, which is very bullish. I'm looking for 23 on this next move. CRR, well, the base, the breakout, the coil, and then the pop with a bit of a retest, only to spike up again yesterday and break out today. I'm looking for a move to 13.5. That would take me up about that zone where there's resistance, and eventually we'll get it up to 17, but for now, let's see what we can do with that. It says 13.7 days to cover, something like that. EMES, well, the stocks in the San Francisco group, EMES and Cellect are moving. The EMES I'm showing you as a coil that might be breaking out with volume, but I'm much more excited about Silica, which is broken out today above resistance and through the prior high. There is some resistance rate at today's high of 37.5, but it looks to me like a $42, $45 stock going forward as a leader in that group. EXTR is doing well. After popping out and pulling back yesterday near the breakout point, today it resumed its advance, jumping another 4.3% on 1.8 million, 1.9 million actually. You can see resistance right there. You can get this up right to the zone, about 13.35. My targets are 14.40, and then we're going up towards 17. Fate Therapeutics is another junior biotech acting great. You can see the breakout there, the little 2-3 day pullback, and then boom, we're up again. There's a little bit of resistance here at 7. Today's high, 7.20. Next target, 8.75 and 11.5. FCAU, well, fifth wave's underway. If you know, I've been talking about this for a few weeks and months now. After coming all the way down in the $5 range, this stock is now 300% higher in the last year and a half. With a 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth wave has begun. It broke out yesterday, it gapped up today. The top of the channel says this could be quickly in the 22 range. That's what I'll look for in the next day or two. ITCI, well, some of the old biotech stocks that we've been following for a long time have come to life like this, and NLNK, I'll get to that in a bit. But for now, you can see the big run up in August, September, when this one went from 11 to 23. Then pulled back down, went sideways for a couple of months. Today was a big move. It went up 187 or 12%, 1.5 million traded, the biggest volume going all the way back to September. This looks like a breakout of a base. I think that the gap at 1816 could be tested as early as tomorrow. It may even get filled towards 19. Ultimately, though, my target's back to 23, and then we'll see something perhaps further. If that manages to get through there, this could be a $30 stock again at some point. 6.7 days to cover. Well, gold stock KL moving and still moving. Check this out, folks. 11, 12 days in a row, up every day. With a nice engulfing reversal bar today, I can see this moving towards 17, 18. Eventually, my $19, $20 swing target is, I think 19 is a good number. Copen, 3 days in a row up, volume increasing, it's at resistance. You see the high today at 357, this high here, 358, and this one, 359. So right in that 2 cent range is resistance. Any kind of follow through tomorrow, let's go on quickly towards the 395 area. Secondary target, 455. 10.5 days to cover on Copen. Well, Mark actually didn't close great, but it had an up day, that's 3 in a row. It got up to the top of this line here. You could draw a line across these peaks and backed off. Now, I still think it's a rising wedge that's going to explode to the upside, get to 15 and 19, 20 range. Keep an eye on this one. The technicals look good. NLNK was the other stock I mentioned earlier, as it finally broke out today with a pop of 96 cents or 10.5%, 2.5 million traded, 2.7 actually. It looks like it might be running at 13 and then late 18, 19 down the road. Overstock. Well, despite the fact that most Bitcoin-related stocks, blockchain-related stocks didn't do well today, this one did. It was a day trade that really ripped from about 69 to 78, 9 points, and closed near the upper end of the range on some really strong volume of 7.5 million. That's the best volume on an up day in 2-3 weeks. Breaking out of this wedge, now I'm looking for a test and take out of 82.70. That's my target for tomorrow. And then I'm looking for, get this, 95. Viking, well, I'm really liking the way this is acting coming out of the flag. It did get up to my first target at the 520 range. Next target 6 and 7. I think we're going to see it. WTI, the junior oil, that's acting well. Put a swing on it yesterday. Today was an inside day, but a positive day. And although it's been up for 8 of the last 10 sessions, it looks to me like a $5.75 stock coming up right there. Nice base. Check it out one more time. Beautiful, beautiful 2-year base. That's going to lead, I think, to 6, 7, and 8 eventually. XNET broke out of the wedge today. We've been talking about this wedge for a few days now. It actually broke out a couple of days ago slowly, but today broke up through this level into the gap. Now, a complete gap fill here tomorrow would get us to about 2056. Today's high, 2010. So it's in that zone, but if it accelerates here, we're going to see 25, 27 again. And finally, Zumiez with a great report. You can see that it had the breakaway gap in September and it's been moving up in a channel today, coming through a double top with a breakaway gap. It ran up to the top of the channel and backed off. It's still up 245 or 12%, but off the highs. Let's let it consolidate a bit, but I think you're going to test the December high of last year, which is 26.5, and then we're headed to 30, in my opinion. Something like that. Good looking chart. That's it for tonight, everybody. Have a good evening.